Welcome out, gamers and gamettes, to this RGL.gg Invite Highlander qualifier match taking place between Train Station and I believe we've got Yee on the other side. Never knows best. My bad. My bad on that. As we did see Train Station take a win yesterday over the Itzy Acorn experience. They're sitting at 1-0 in these invite qualifiers. We've got 4 teams battling it out for one final spot remaining in the invite division. But before we talk too much about that, I am Alto, joined at my side by Rogue, Dolphin behind the camera as always. Rogue, how you doing tonight?
Yo, I'm doing very well, thank you. Excited to be getting some broadcasting done this season and excited to see who's going to be rounding out Invite because I'll put my hands right up and say this might be the best season of Invite RGL Highlander I've seen since my return almost 2 years ago now. So whoever rounds out that last spot is going to consider themselves very lucky and also has a pretty tough contest along the way because if you kept your eyes on the qualifier predictions, these teams were pretty closely matched, so I'm excited to see which way this goes.
Right, and I would say that considering this is kind of just a round robin, so one match against each team, I believe it is, you're only getting one chance at these teams. I want to say Yee are the presumed favorites to win this, given their appearance in Invite last season. However, we've got Train Station and Never Knows Best here, who I believe were second and third, respectively, or at least after Itzy Acorn, the Itzy Acorn experience's rough performance last night, should be second and third. So the winner of this is going to find themselves in a very good position, especially if it's Train Station, because they'll be moving to 2-0 on the qualifiers so far. But let's run down the rosters real quick so we know who we're talking about. Rogue, if you want to start us off.
With pleasure. On the side of Train Station, we have Kunamus on Scout, Rai Soldier, Rez on Pyro, Nick on Demoman. Sorry, that's Geen on Soldier. I believe Geen was their main, and it looks like they'll be back for tonight, so that's good. Anyway, Jinzo Heavy, Frog Engineer, Matches they're on Medic, Mountain on Sniper, and of course it's Lucky, Rip Spy.
And over on the side of Never Knows Best, Nugget on Scout, Voosh on Soldier, Pyro is QKI, which I believe is Cookie. That's what I'm going to be calling him. Mig on Demoman, Chalk on Heavy, Yogurt looks like his Ringing Engineer, Jer on Sniper, Arbiter on Sniper, and Craft Kitty on Spy. So, with those out of the way, Zach, anything here that's kind of just jumping out at you right away? Anything, any immediate thoughts on these rosters?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's almost like every second or third player, I'm like, oh, that person actually plays pretty well. Or, this is someone who kind of knows what they're doing. A lot of these teams in upper challenger, upper advanced, lower invite, they're spending their time on the, in the pug servers. They're spending their time studying, DMing, learning, working, grinding. And so I'm looking at some players like Lucky is definitely going to turn some heads. Kunamus I really like on Scout. Arbiter there on Sniper can, compete with the best of them in invite. So both of these teams are kind of littered with players who are going to get some work done.
Right, and for anyone who didn't join us last night, we did see Train Station, again, take that 4-1 over the Itzy Acorn experience, and while in a lot of their rounds they looked extremely dominant, Nick was doing phenomenally, dropped 700 DPM in the first half, 660 I think in the second. They still definitely had some notable weaknesses that can be taken advantage of. Matches was getting forced a little bit too easily, running into some untimely deaths, and despite the amount of pressure they were putting out, Itzy Acorn on Spy, the player, not the team, was getting tons of picks. It felt like almost, on the drop of a hat. Like, we need a med drop? All right, I'm on it. And, there it goes. So, strong performances from them, but definitely things that they could have improved on. So, with Never Knows Best coming in here looking like a more solid roster than the Itzy Acorn experience, it should be a good test to see if they've been able to improve anything, as that last match was on product as well.
Yeah, that's the kind of consideration, right? When we have Yi as kind of the best as we expect coming in, you kind of have two goals if you're competing for that second place, where you're first trying to get any win over Yi would be amazing, but the real match that it comes down to probably is this one, where it's going to decide like who's the for sure second team or who's going to be the one where even a win against Yi matters. So especially on product here, it's going to be kind of a what do you call it? Yeah, they're going to be very exposed, right? Where it's like you said, if teams are forcing too early, if teams are doing, too much damage, not enough, they're going to be caught out for sure. So should be leaving it all on the table here, huh?
Right, and I know because you mentioned Arbiter before. I'm really interested in the SVS tonight for Arbiter versus Mountain because I had mentioned last night I had been playing in Maine for the past couple seasons, off-classing with some friends, and Mountain had been smashing the division, moved up into, I believe, Advanced last season and had a really good showing, and is now, getting the opportunity I expected he'd get to maybe break into the big leagues here. So he had a good performance against Jim's Gims last night on the Itzy A-Core experience. Really dominant first half, but in the second half, not as strong. Still had a good KD, but 0-4 in the SVS is not, something conducive to winning on product. So should be another good test for him tonight and a good chance for Arbiter to show what he can really do. Other than that, though, I know that I'm looking I want to see Nick versus Mig as well, as I had the luck to play with Mig on Scout last season in Maine, and he was, just really solid player, all around great game sense, and now he's on his main here, and I've heard he's really, really solid at it. Some of the logs he put up when he played demo last season were, pretty absurd. So that should be a really, really good combo as well. And I think that if one of the two demos can kind of take a lead on the other, it'll be a lot of tempo for their team.
That's interesting because I had gotten to play some sixes with Nick over there on train, and it's almost the opposite, right? Where Nick is a little bit more of like a journeyman, been on a lot of these top advanced, low invite kind of teams for seasons upon seasons here, where it's almost like a different breed of player when they've been here for so long, It's someone like, maybe I think of Monkey 66, right? Where they're always going to be doing the damage, no problem. They're going to get 400 DPM every game. They're never going to get really caught out. They're going to have all the timings down. But, if they were really that sand of a player, they would have, climbed higher than here so far, right? So I think Nick is going to be like kind of unwavering in that way. He's definitely not going to lose the game. So the question for me is if Mig is going to take the game by the horns or not.
Yeah, and it should be nice to see too, because I mean, Chalk is someone that's kind of been that's had good invite experience, but I feel like has never had that breakout season yet. Always hovering around that 3-4 mark. So never, I think a lot of people have been kind of realizing though that he's always been one of the better players on his team. So when we look at that combo as a whole, maybe you can say Nick's got a little more experience on Mig, but I think Chalk can help even that out with Jinzo not being a bad player at all, had a really solid showing last night, but hasn't really had the amount of invite experience that Chalk has had. And from what I understand, Chalk's the type of heavy that can really kind of take control of a game in a good way. So that should be something interesting to see as well, especially with how Zag and I had identified matches as one of the weaknesses for Train Station last night. The combo play is something I'm really going to be looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of thinking to go around it, even though these players are individually sometimes good, sometimes bad. I mean, and a lot of these players have played together before. This reads to me as one of those games where we're going to watch the first mid and then 30 seconds more and we're already going to kind of know who the winner is, right? How much time have these teams had to build up coordination and cohesion? Some of them are going to maybe one combo strong with the other, maybe a flank player goes off, but it's about the objective. It's about getting cap time. It's about, working with your advantages and moving the Ubers back and forth. So I have a little suspicion that a little bit into the game, we're going to see the dominant side and just watch them roll the rest of the way. What do you think?
I felt that in last night's match, definitely. We'd been mentioning that it's the A-Core experience had a ton of question marks around some of their players, some of them switching classes, some of them coming back after a long hiatus, but right after the first mid, it was pretty well established that Train Station had the upper hand here. Looking at these rosters, I'm not sure that I think it's going to be that clear-cut. I think we're going to see a mid, unless that first round continues to be really one-sided. I'm thinking and I'm hoping that we have a much closer match tonight. That being said, we talked a lot about the combos and a little bit about the snipers. I want to put an eye on the flanks a little bit right here, because Nugget and Voosh are two names that have been around for quite some time. Nugget, I remember back from UGC, and Voosh, I know had played some Invite Soldier, I want to say on Squirtye. Don't quote me on that, and has kind of been, hanging around the scene as well. Another player similar to Chalk, where, been around the invite scene long enough that that this player knows what they're doing, but never really made that big splash and, started to get a lot of, started to really get that moment where it's like, oh, wow, this guy's, a major carry on the team. Whereas Cutimus has been playing high advance, low invite on Scout for a while, was on the dojo, won advanced on that, and, had a decent invite season, although, 0-7 is never what you want going into it, but they had some close games. And Geen, though, someone I'm not familiar with, so...
Yeah, I've played my fair share of games against Kudomis. Actually, I won't... never mind. But anyway, I've played a lot of games with Kudomis, and yeah, it's another one of those players where, like, they could definitely hang, right? Like, kind of the same way as Nick, where, like, they're never going to lose the game for their team, so... Yeah, that's why, these players, again, they're playing the pugs, they got the DM, they got here, right? Which is great, but how can they convert, their own skill into, like, working with their fellow flank players or timing it with their team, because that's what it's going to come down to, right? Like, teams will exchange Ubers, but one flank will be dead, and then that decides the fight or something like that. Or, like, on a mid, like, whoops, our flank went too early and our combo went too late. So that's kind of like, not exactly the growing pains, but that's going to be, what this match is won and lost by, if you ask me.
Yeah, I can see that. You can definitely see that. Although the other thing I'm also going to be looking at is how the spies play out, especially with these pyros. As again, at least because I had the experience of watching them last night, right? Rez, and obviously I don't want to, I don't want to throw all of the blame on spies to one player, but we've talked about almost everyone else, so now we're talking about the pyros and the spies. So Lucky had a very good game, consistently finding tons of picks, arguably I think some that probably shouldn't have gotten away with, but, you take those, whatever you can on Spy, but if Rez and the rest of the train station combo are able to help shut down Craft Kitty, and Lucky's able to repeat that performance, I think that can go a long way to maybe neutralizing any of the mistakes that they may make, so... It seems like, though, that, from what you've been saying, there's a decent amount of players on train station that you say are never going to lose the game for them. Between Nick and Kudomis, and those are, two of the, main, two out of the three of the Highlander Trinity, especially on product, right? With Mountain being the other one, so that kind of, I think, puts a little bit more focus on the SVS.
Yeah, well said.
And
especially with, snipers being fragile creatures as they are, a lot of times, whoever has a hotter start with snipers will kind of just roll that for the rest of the game as the other one cries in fragging class.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely one way to put it. What was I going to say? Brain fart, but yeah, no, I think that can be a big one. So if the game isn't going to be lost from the scout or demo position, either it's going to be lost on the sniper, or you're going to need someone on Never Knows Best to just really pop off. You win because the other team makes game-losing plays, or you win because you just make that many more game-winning plays. And I think that if Mig has the opportunity to be that, I think Chalk has the opportunity to be that, and I think Arbiter has the opportunity to be that. So those are the plays I'm going to be focusing on.
With all my years watching this map and playing this map, it's amazing to me to see how, like, the meta's developed and how the top invite teams have adjusted with how fast they're playing. How they go from having off Ubers on cliff to now behind house to now, like, pushing out of grass, all these different options. So I'm really just looking at these teams, like, even if the players play kind of well, it's like, I wouldn't even say who knows what they're doing. I would ask who doesn't know what they're doing less, right? Like, how fast are these teams going to capitalize on a winning fight? How fast are these refights going to come in? How well are these teams going to protect their medic off Ubers, things like that? It's like there's almost this flow chart where, in a game like this, especially going off last night, even for some of the quote-unquote basic stuff, it doesn't go always as planned. So it's like, when teams are making mistakes left and right, how few of your own mistakes can you make while, closing in on their mistakes? And I'm sure it's going to be back and forth in that regard.
Yeah, whoever throws less wins. It's like a League of Legends game. But, no, I mean, to that point, last night we saw a lot of forward holding coming out of train station. And I don't want to lean too deep into that because there's a chance that they were, rolling for the first 3 rounds pretty hard. And when you're rolling as hard as you are, you get a little loose with it. You walk forward, you try to take the grind that you can because you're not exactly fearing the other team. But if we see these teams come out to be a little bit more even, I'm going to be interested to see whether or not Train Station continues that very aggressive style of play, because occasionally it would backfire on them where they could have maybe just sat back on point, played by the book, and like we saw them, perfect hold the first round, 3 minutes to 0. Maybe they could have done that in the second, but they were walked forward, limit testing a bit, as Zach and I called it. So that did come back to bite them sometimes and end up in them losing point or losing some key classes. remains to be seen, you know, whether or not that behavior will continue, or against a more solid opponent, they're gonna, you know, play a little bit more passive and not worry about everything else happening in that way.
Yeah, he was hoping everyone, you know, maybe actually, maybe I'll take it back. He was hoping that, you know, we don't have to resort to violence and, you know, we don't always have to fight. Instead, we could just talk about our problems and work together as we go for a pacifist route without starting. But I have word from HQ that the clock is counting down, so hold tight, everyone at home, because we're finally about to begin the game.
All right, and as we're in these final seconds here, Rogue, what I'm gonna ask you for your prediction.
4-3 in favor of Train.
All right, I was thinking 4-3 in favor of Never Knows Best. So we're split on the desk. Hopefully, we've got a good one either way. Chances are that means it's going to go 4-0 in one direction, but we do have 18 in the server. Should be less than 30 seconds now until ready up. So, Rogue, who are you watching on this first mid?
Let's see. I think I'm excited about Mig after you hyped them up a little bit here, so I'm really excited to see that DM come hot out of the gate here on mid.
All right, yep, I've already got my POV right there. We'll have to see how this turns out.
All right, everyone, spam a sticky bomb in chat to cheer for the demo man at mid. Let's go.
Right, and we are underway with Never Knows Best versus Train Station in the invite qualifiers round. Good spam coming out from both demos. Voosh over the top really early, gonna get some good damage, and Cunham is going down very quickly, but Arbiter and Yogurt both going down to Geen. Huge rockets coming out. Chalk walking across Caution, gonna get focused down as well. Chair going down. Geen with his third kill of the mid already, ravaging the backlines of Never Knows Best, and Train Station coming out with a quick, loud, and dominant first mid.
Wow. You know, as a man of the people, I was keeping my camera on Mig the whole time, who did so great at that mid, but it's one of those where you suddenly turn around and 4 of your team's dead. So, yeah, great job from Game to, you know, start the game going. I mean, NKB weren't able to follow up on the damage. They couldn't keep their back line protected, huh?
Yeah, I didn't even see where he came in from, to be honest, but here comes in a sack. Coming out of Mig, gonna land on Cliff, actually. Maybe lived a little bit longer, but Cookie walking in, gonna drop matches, and Nick with the reflect pipe! Crazy play coming out from Cookie. There is that Pyro diff off the bat. Chalk forward on point, and Crab Kitty going to try to assassinate Frog on the dispenser. Will not get the kill and will go down to Cutomus, but that nuts reflect taking the demo and med with a pipe will give the point and Uber ad back over to the favor of Never Knows Best.
I had my whole spiel ready. We're like, why are they sacking one after another? This is what's never going to work. And then suddenly Cookie makes it work, but another sack coming in really fast. Huge pick onto Nick out of the sky. Geen going for whatever they can find, but Jaren, the dispenser shield, managing to hold on. I mean, there's some good traits, and look at this cap time from Cutomus as well. I mean, Cutomus is going down, but they force the Uber. I mean, there's still going to be cap time post, so you know what? If you're a train, you're not really going to complain about this salvage.
Yeah, but I do want to point out that Rez was just sacking on the jetpack, personal favorite of mine. So I've got a new favorite player in this server. But just a good play out of that. They do get the Uber forced out, which is big. They weren't able to finish up the cap time, but Mig playing super aggressive on point right here. Gonna get some good damage out on Rock. Will be forced back, not too low though. And Arbiter landing the shot onto Cutomus. No scout to help edge that. Rez walking a bit forward here. Will go down. Arbiter continuing to roll off these shots. Geen goes down in exchange for Yogurt, and Lucky takes out Voosh. So with the Uber coming out from the side of Train Station, they will get this point back eventually, but not yet. Are they waiting for their Enchi to spawn? No, it looks like they might not get this.
That's just too slow, right? I do love this from Mig leading the push here, Nugget following, Chalk following. I mean, they've retaken the point. They don't even need to use this Uber. They were planning to use this whole time, but whoa, some quick frags coming in from the explosive classes on Train, managing to hold back NKB for now. I mean, a lot of picks onto NKB, so spam coming in too. Ooh, we got to be careful here. Jared managing to make it out at the last second, but you know, NKB doesn't really have enough time to use this Uber into Train, so Train's gonna come back up on even Ubers here to be able to contest the point. And yeah, NKB going all the way back to spawn. Actually, this is like a long time to take with your Uber, but at least you don't want to bleed too many players as we bleed our first player before the Uber.
Yeah, it brings up the question. Oh, really early pop coming out of Jer. Mig jumping forward. Will get caught on the back end of that. But yeah, Matches it does have and will use back in here. Rez doing a great job of denying. No frags yet in this exchange. Cookie very low. Might end up going down. And will escape too. Nick hurt. Big bomb coming in out of Voosh. Gonna land the kill onto Nick. Frags though slightly in favor of Train Station right here. And Jer getting stabbed out. There is Lucky coming in with another pick. And it looks like Train Station will tidily hold this point. It's a little bit even in the beginning there, but a solid hold from the blue team.
Wow, the difference maker there for me was Jinzo on Cliff. It's one of those, you know, heavies on Cliff get some flack here and there, but, you know, if Jinzo's like, all I know is fine dining and holding on Cliff, they pushed it just the right time. They did 1 million damage to the combo, got 2 picks as well, so that's a hold for Train.
Yeah, Lucky though, gonna get caught out, so no spy to come rotations. Aggro play from Nick and Jinzo here, but Nick gets sniped out. Arbiter continuing to find kills, and Chalk takes down Cutamus. Those are 2 big classes down. The edging should come in pretty soon for the side of Train Station or NKB, but no, Mountain's gonna take out Arbiter, and despite the numbers ad, Train Station is holding on to this. No scout. Where is Nugget? Looking to edge. I guess he just spawns. Yeah, the cap will come in now, but it's more precious seconds held off, and they're gonna lose Yogurt here. So another player on a long spawn having capped. Cookie goes down to rollers. Couldn't get the heals fast enough, and that's 3 players down.
Yeah, that's going to be another drop here. So we're massive ad now for Jer. These teams, you know, that's the kind of like cursed gauntlet, right, of edging cap. I mean, luckily they were able to salvage with that med pick, so that drop kind of saved NKB in this push. Another quick hop onto Jer. A few bit of spam. Oh, goes down to 10 HP. Holding on tight on this hill. Oh, Train's getting the cap time. They're getting the damage, but NKB is about to come up on their Uber, so it's a bit too little too late.
Yeah, we missed it there for a while, but Voosh had dropped Matches during that last fight, and that's one of the reasons why we're so close right here. Full ad for Jer, and it might come out with a force right now, and Mig gonna be walking forward with Nugget, trying to find any kills they can. Rez just gonna hightail it, knowing that Matches is out and safe. Mountain was stabbed out, so they can play wide in this post fight, but Matches on 90%. This round is nowhere near over yet.
I like they're going faster, not waiting for our players, ready to use as soon as we come up on that Uber. Oh, deciding to not use Uber and then drop another couple players, or just our scout here. Finally, the Uber comes out, but, you know, when you telegraph for that long out, they know where you're coming, they know what you're trying to do, so they just leave, right? This Uber would have been fantastic for Train if they just used earlier, but they decided to dawdle.
Right, and even then, too, we saw Nick get blown back the second that Uber started, so with Cutamus getting dropped and Nick getting blown back, it's like 3 seconds off of it, so they had no chance of doing anything. Mig gonna get sniped out, though. Both demos are down, as we are under 20 seconds now on both teams, only 5 on the side of NKB here. Cookie gonna be doing his best to edge, but that mini doing a lot of work right now with the explosive classes down, and there is Mountain picking up kill number 5. The Uber will come out on to Nugget coming across point, but no frags to be found. Rez doing a great job denying. Cookie gonna help take out Cutamus. There is Mig back in. Frags coming through, but Jinzo standing tall on point, gonna take out Yogurt. Gonna try to take out Mig. Mig goes down, and Chalk on the fist doesn't get the punch kill, and it looks like that will be round for Train Station.
Ooh, is it hot in here? I can't believe that 5K from Matches. Like, this was so close in Matches. One of those, like, look at me, I'm the captain now. Sorry, not Matches, Mountain. Wrong, M alias. And then that was a sick surf, though, from Matches at the very end, where they were on 3 HP, but surfed onto the high ground. So, yeah, kind of taking the match by the horn here from Mountain. Let's keep it up.
So, as we were talking about a clear winner, and I don't think we've seen one yet here, as we get into the second mid, here comes Ingeen, gonna get reflected off right away, but all of the kills coming in. Nick finding pipes onto Jarrett, Craft Kitty going down. It is a parade of kills coming in for Train Station, and another dominant mid from the blue team here.
Well, they're dropping like flies here. Now that, here's the question, right? You have full ad, you can do whatever you want. Where are they holding? Some place moving forward, some moving back. Okay, we've decided on pocket for Train here. So they're playing to play against the Sacks, right? Jin's ready for the Bombers. Our Power's watching for Bombers. People watching for Spy, playing your Sniper on Rock. So they're ready to sit pretty for a while here. So how fast can the opposing team get this pressure in?
Right, Jarrett looks like Jarrett did go down, but the stab's coming into Nick. Mountain going down as well. Chalk really far forward here. Might try to pick up a kill. Will go down for his troubles, though, but they do manage to get some kills here. No Uber getting forced out of matches, though, is the important thing. Jarrett on 80%. Lucky looks like may have been sniffed out on China, and will get the kill onto Arbiter regardless. Those revolver shots coming in. So, even with Jarrett coming up on Uber, it's still even Ubers and no pick classes on the side of NKB. Means that this Uber is not likely to go well.
Yeah, NKB again going for one of those shots where you edge point, but like, look how much damage you're taking. By the time the Ubers are happening, Train gets used Uber on the point, right? So NKB trying to salvage now. They're lucky that they have the better spawns, and they were able to survive that exchange. So a little bit of a desperate attempt here from Nick at the end, but you know, it's better to die and just respawn with the rest of your team while you're losing anyway. See what you can get.
What is this aggression? Chalk is killing Jinzo in the main spawn. Going into house, they're spawn camping Rez, or tele-camping Rez there. Gonna get stabbed out by Crab Kitty. That's just a little quick tour into into the blue house.
The match is still dead. This is gonna be a whole 50 ad for Jer.
But Arbiter bled out.
Wow. Yeah, Arbiter getting a little bit more pressure than they would like in this match, it seems.
Yeah, so he's only just spawning. You know, and it looks like we're going to see a very quick push coming out of Blue Team. They have Uber dis-add, Jer on 90%, and maybe knowing that they're not going to commit like it looked like they might have. But Nick getting aggressive on point, spam coming out. Interesting that Jer's playing on Cliff. You don't always see that. Gonna drop down and use, though, onto Nugget. Arbiter gets counter-sniped, but Nugget is in deep, getting stuffed out by Rez. Not many kills going to come in on this, if any. Lucky in on the post, going to find Chalk. And with 4 down, this should be a cap for Train Station coming in short order.
Yeah, that's one of those pushes out there where it's like, oh, our strat is to use. And it's like, well, okay, but what about everything else? You know, and the rest of the team just kind of was like walking around trying to figure out how to be useful. But by then it was already too late with all that aggressive pressure from Train. Anyone not flashed shall die.
Good, yeah, good teams use Ubers on Scout, so if we do that, we'll be good too, right? That's how that works. But ooh, big bomb coming in out of Voosh, gonna land in on Pocket. Nick gonna go down. Match is not taking too much damage though. Tons of forward pressure right now, but it is a sack wave and everyone is melting. Jer alone back in spawn, building with Nugget. That is completely fine. You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, but time is running low right now for NKB to retake this point.
Even Ubers dropping one just before the exchange. So NKB has been favoring these Cliff Ubers, which I do like, but you know, they've kind of been a little bit lost between who they're keeping in the Uber, or which way are they taking their Uber, you know. Are we keeping our combo players alive? Look at this already, like Nugget down to half HP, 1/3 HP. They just use now. These players are already rolled. I mean, Soldiers rolled, we're losing our flank. Finally, we're using on the other team. Arbiter keeping the team in this with Voosh getting a nice pick onto the Spy too. So Ubers are off the board. We're kind of a little bit favored for NKB, and that snipe right there is going to be the difference maker. So finally, NKB gets a solid cap, but has over a minute of a difference on the clock.
I'm low-key getting a lot of friction from watching this because it feels like the team making the worst decision ends up getting rewarded for it just by, you know, sniper kills coming through at the right time. Like, Nugget taking that much damage before the Uber meant that he had to have the beam on him constantly, you know. Maybe you can, you know, leave it off of him and just, you know, keep it solo, extend that Uber length, but they lose a second off the Uber because of the damage he takes, but it ends up not mattering. They still end up winning the fight, but Nick getting super aggressive on caution. Everyone in NKB being forced super far back. Mig at 11 health in pocket. Arrow's finally going to land, but they just get bullied off this point, and Lucky going to take the kill onto Cookie. Caught out before any more damage onto Mig, but a free repush coming out of Train Station.
What a huge play from Nick and Train Station. Like, they could have waited for Uber, and before they already did, but this time they just decide, no, we're winning this here and now. Uber coming out from NKB, they use first, they use so early, they do get a couple picks, but look at how much better this Uber is. Rez going all the way in, just shoving everyone away from the point. You shall not pass. And everyone who's behind Train gets cleaned up, so Train maintains a solid hold of this point.
Right, they are losing numbers, though. They're down their sniper. Actually, both snipers are down, but the presence is hard in the favor of NKB. They will cap this with 1 second remaining, so we're not in overtime yet. But they have about a minute on the clock, roughly even Ubers here. And they're going to need to keep all their players alive, and they're going to need Arbiter to start stepping up here, I think. He's been getting pretty well manhandled in the SVS by Mountain so far, and if he can start getting some picks, it'll do a lot for them to help this hold.
Yeah, that's even one of like the time-honored Highlander strats. Like, let's just focus the hell out of the sniper, even if you're useless. If you make their sniper useless too, we stand a chance. And looks like Lucky's doing exactly that, huh?
Yeah, this between the Spy, the, you know, Flying Class is getting aggressive, and the counter snipes. Nick forced super low. That Uber's going to be forced out super early. Jer going to get forced out as well, though. But with the help in the favor of NKB, they have the advantage in this fight. Nick going to be forced to bail out of this fight. Match is escaping with less than half health. Frog escaping with just a mere 6. So the hold will come through. We are at the point where there should not be any more Ubers in this round. It's going to be solely a frag differential right now as we're into the quiet seconds of this match.
Yeah, man, see, the play there for Train should have been to just go in and trade in that post Uber, but instead they back up and collect themselves, right? But they let NKB get their late respawners too. You know, you got to take advantage of your early respawns and play more aggressive. But actually, NKB, whoop, it was almost losing the cap there, but yeah, I mean, a little too slow from from Train, and that makes a difference here for NKB, able to hold the point, it looks like, in 2-1. A surprise! Yogurt unaware, and it's all over the mini century.
Oh, here comes the Nick! Can he make it in time? No, he will not. But I do want to give some major credit to Chalk there, playing a little bit more baity, because heavies are so important in these double overtime fights, especially when you have the point and you have those lower spawns, or those longer spawns, excuse me. He played a little bit more baity, sat on rock, made sure that he could stay alive and put damage out, whereas Jinzo was the one leading forward, which I don't want to say, oh, he should have baited his team, but Chalk staying alive a little bit longer there proved to be really big in the context of that fight.
Making our way into the next mid. I mean, there's so much confidence emanating from Train here. Look how far forward their players are. Jinzo in, Karamis in, even though they're getting pressured out. But actually, Yogurt so deep gets Nick and Karamis from the flank.
Lucky on the backside, though, finds the stab onto Jer, so it is a massacre on both sides. Mountain, it's sniper versus sniper and med right here. So, you know, one of them's have a buff. You can't quickscope, but he lands the quickscope, but he won't die because he has a buff. Mountain, bit of a lucky situation there. Will go down, though. Cookie lands the flare. The mini sentry be damned. Spawns coming in a little bit more quickly for the side of Train Station, so they're going to have the presence here. Arbiter catches a pipe, will be forced back, and it looks like Train Station will take this mid, but that was a wild one.
Yeah, this one, Mountain's winning the war, but at least Arbiter's winning the battle, right? You know, holding it down in the 1v2. You got to take what you can get. I mean, there's a lot of fast pressure coming from NKB. They get the force. This is exactly what they need. Now they're backing up, but honestly, you don't want to leave here. Yeah, look at Cookie going in, doing some damage as we have a quick pause. But I like to see this movement and this aggression. You know, these teams are kind of warming into the game, it feels like to me.
Yeah, and just, you know, playing aggressively, I think, is such a good strategy that, you know, teams just don't do enough. It sounds really simple, right? Just walk forward, you know, forehead, but just when you walk forward, when you are the one aggressing a lot of the times, yes, there's inherent defender's advantage, but you are forcing the other team to respond to you. You are taking control of your own fate, and you are making the other team play well. You're putting the ball in their court. And if they're going to beat you, if you're going to lose to a team, they're going to have to be better than you anyway, so why not bring the fight to them? Yeah. Rather than sit back, do nothing, and, you know, blame it on, oh, our sniper got out SVS, so there's nothing we can do. Playing this really hyper-aggressive kind of dry fight style is something you'll see, you know, higher invite teams do. If they have, you know, advantages in positioning or in health or just they feel confident, they'll just say, all right, let's go 9v9. We can take it. And having the confidence to do that, I think, is something that can bode very well for these teams in the future.
Yeah, and think too how many times we said this is too slow. Where I'm looking at a dry, it's too slow. I'm looking at the Zuber exchange, it's too slow. If this were a demo review, I would have paused so many times already to say that point. So by just playing aggressive, you know, if the other team is playing too slow, it's like, well, great. By the time they start to deal with your forward hold, you bought time on the clock. By the time they finish getting rid of your forward hold and start doing the regular push, you want more time off the clock. And it's just a matter of time anyway here on King of the Hill. You know, you got to take the time however you get it. That's why I'm saying in these times, like, these teams are so great and are kind of doing, you know, good things, but in order to be great in this map and to be great and be an invite level team, you have to be ready for what's going to happen next. Like, oh, we're about to lose the point. Let's go and die, make trades now, throw our medic into the fray and have them die anyway, just because we're going to get some trades. And then after they cap, our spawns will be better, you know, just make something happen. So I'm excited to see these teams playing a bit faster here and there as more time goes on, but I want to see just faster play, more of this aggression. It seems to be always working, one of those things, right? So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right, and I do want to take a second to look at the current state of the game right now while we were paused. Matches has used Uber right here, and, you know, Train Station has had a decent chunk of time off this clock. I want to say we were at about 140 left for them right when the pause came through, so, you know, time ticking down on the pause regardless, but we will see Uber add on the side of NKB here. Jared about 60%. So when they come up on that, they have a kill onto Geen and Lucky, but they should be up. It should be a 99 when they come back in, but we're really going to need that Uber coming out of NKB to get the point if they want to have a chance at, you know, winning this first half 2-1.
Oh, and of course, for the folks back home, the reason for the pause is that Chalk on heavy for NKB has crashed. And of course, the pause is 90 seconds in the future. So, right now is not when the pause happened, but in 90 seconds from now will be when it will have happened.
Right, so yeah, we'll see Chalk playing as normal for the next 90 seconds. Unpause comes through, Mountain wins the SBS onto Arbiter, but immediately goes down to Crab Kitty. Both snipers end up essentially losing that SBS, because that was what a Dolphin was paused on. But a lot of cap time in here for NKB. They may end up just taking this point back on their own, although that might just be a HUD glitch. Hard to tell right now. But no, they will take it back, so that Uber not even needed. A little bit of over-aggression maybe in that big pick coming in from Crab Kitty. Manages to get them the point.
NKB is like slowly making their way forward, slowly going. I mean, Arbiter getting the nice snipe onto the engineer, but like now is the time, okay, let's go clear out the gun, or hey, let's feed our flank through connector. Let's make something happen because they're coming up on Uber soon. Yeah, the thing is, like, they let Train go in for that sack, but if you were playing aggressive, Train can't sack, Like, you see them coming when they come through the spawn door, right? So, here's another example, I guess. I want to see us playing farther up, faster.
Yeah, and we do see a little bit of aggressive play right here. Crab Kitty, like he's on the middle sheet on Cliff. Gonna drop down. I don't think Nick knows anything, and will he get it? He will not. I think he managed to get a butter knife off, but Nick will live at only 20 health. That demo pick would have been massive to come up with. An Arbiter gets piped out by Nick. Not what you want to see your sniper going down to here. So, Jer, I think, has Uber? No, 60% on that Uber. My HUD, though, again, might be a little bit glitched. The cap will go back through in the favor of Train Station, though, and it looks like NKB is going to be forced to give it up.
I feel like when I see a heavy walking across dog bread, there comes the timing of the pause. It's almost like the chess evaluator of which side is winning. Like, it just gets higher and higher for the side who has a heavy pushing across caution, right? So when Train had Jinzo getting closer and closer without using, or without dying, rather, that's what won them the fight, more or less. The Super does get forced out, though. Match is taking Kutamis and Nick a bit forward. Not really going to find that much. You just need to get Jared to use, and Jared does use.
Yeah, but the counterpump coming out is going to be really solid. No damage on Rez, though. Nothing missed his first couple of scattergun shots, so will be kind of a wash all around. But the point presence gained by having that better Uber will be very solid. And Crab Kitty coming into the back, getting a bunch of kills, so the frag's going in NKB's favor. They're about to pull ahead in time right now.
Yeah, like, if you're trained, you want to fight now. NKB has their players dead. This is a whole 6 seconds. You're just sitting waiting for your respawners. You could have been picking more of their players, You were already in like a 7v7. Take that fight with your better spawns. Don't wait for a 9v7 and now, like, whoops, they got better set up. Now they have buffs. Now they have a mini. They have a dispenser, Train just has to go. Like, what are they waiting for? They're waiting for Uber? That's a whole 30 seconds, and then you use 8 seconds of Uber, right? Let's move!
Just go, hit Z and then hit 4 for voice commands. Go, go, go. Or I think that might be Z3. Z4 is move up, I think. Same thing, though,
I'll take
getting forward. But yeah, I want to say Arbiter did just land a really good shot on to Nick to stall for a little bit longer. Uber's going to come out right here. Jer only at 90, so some really solid building coming out of the blue team as we... No, it's just the server lagging a little bit, it looks like. No pause to be found. Cookie's going to deal a decent amount of damage, but likely will go down. No, managed to get the reflex. Uber comes out, and a big jump coming out of... Didn't see who that was, but... Mountain will go down, Jinzo, Frog, all going to start eating it right here. And the point's going to go, keep Seasong back in favor of the game. Even matches in main, Voosh coming in from behind. That must have been who was jumping. Finds the medic, and that should help stop the patented product Uber leapfrog. Voosh continuing to get kills in this post fight. Make it 4.
This is excellent from NKB. Like, look at that. They didn't need to use that Uber to take this point, but they said, we're doing whatever we can and we're doing it now. Okay, use. And, they got the conversion. They got so much tempo on the enemy team. Now they're in control of this clock by a lot. I mean, they have they have all of their players alive. By just being proactive here, they're taking this match by the horns again.
Arbiter now on a 4 streak, starting to get heated up a little bit. Jer playing back on Cliff, a spot that he seems to like. Gonna eat a little bit of a rocket, though, but will heal up on that dispenser. Not too much trouble. Frog super low on point, trying to just get any time that he can. We're in the desperation minutes right now, and with Uber on the side of NKB. Lucky can't find anything. That's an Uber heavy. The collapse coming in. It is a rout for NKB, and despite dropping the first round, they'll come back to take the first half 2-1.
Wow. I mean, that was a fighting chance for Train with this ad, but, they lost their demo heavy to sniper spy respectively, so that's what makes the difference at the end of the day. I mean, really nice play for both teams, honestly. This is going back and forth where, like, it's almost as if when one team decides to win a fight, they just do, but sometimes they don't decide to win, right?
A little bit indecisive. Do we want to take this one? Let me get back to you on that. And they end up getting away. But I do want to give some major props to Voosh there for that last for that med pick on matches in main right at the end. I think matches should have known that at that point. They had 30 seconds left. You need to make sure you have enough time to get that Uber back, and staying alive is paramount to that. That fight was lost, and she went back in, which I can understand the feeling as medic. Both of us play med. I think both of us get criticized for being a little bit too aggressive at times. Right, so we both want to be in. We don't want to bait our teams, but on the other side, you need to know when your life is important, and even if it's 30%, getting out and saving that Uber would have been really big right there. So, an unfortunate death, but it ends up with NKB taking a 2-1 lead.
Wow, I mean, I was excited for how close I thought like some of the standout players were or weren't. Look at this, man. Medic's exactly the same number of deaths at 6. Sniper's exactly the same number of deaths with 1 kill difference between them. I mean, Demomen both putting up top damage and, one getting more damage, more kills, but a few more deaths. Like, these teams are kind of going back and forth, neck and neck. I'm, seeing a couple. I'm not really seeing anyone game losing or game winning. I mean, I will note, I guess, the 18 frags from Cookie against the 5 from Rez, but, pyro frags come as they may, huh?
I mean, but sometimes when they're reflect pipe med drops, the pyro diff is real. Something very surprising is that Nugget got 24% heals. And that's a lot,
That's crazy.
Product is a very good scout map, and, you always want to be pocketing your scout, but I rarely see scouts actually manage to break 20%. And I think it's worth noting that a lot of those heals came at Chalk's expense. As you look at it, and Jinzo got almost double the heals that Chalk did. And yeah, Jinzo got more kills, but Chalk managed to have more kill participation, more damage, only 1 more death, while taking half the heals, which really enabled Nugget to, have a lot more of an impact. Now, granted, Nugget, not the most solid game. I thought a lot of those Ubers were, maybe good in theory, but in practice, they really managed to just, kind of fizzle out. But you think about Chalk doing all that work to allow Nugget to go even, you're still gaining, right?
Yeah.
Because if Chalk can do that there, maybe the heals wouldn't be as good on him. Now you have an even scout and an even heavy as opposed to a slightly better heavy and a really big scout gap. So that being said, looking forward with so many of these other things remaining even, I think if Nugget can just, have a better game, I mean, I don't want to throw too much shade, but sub 200 DPM on scout when you're getting 24% heals is not what you want to be seeing. That is just not hitting shots. And I can't hit the broadside of a barn with a shotgun, so I'm not saying this as criticism, but, well, I am, but, I don't mean anything too bad by it, but that is, you need to be performing better than that for a team that aspires to be an invite. You cannot take 24% heals, get that many Ubers, and only deal 190 DPM.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it, right? Where by giving that few heals to Chalk, and Chalk's still doing fantastic, it's like, wow, that's how good you are. But when you give that many heals to Nugget and they're not sending out, it's like, wow, that's how good you are. So, yeah, if you're getting this many heals, you have to do something with it, right? If you're not going to do something with it, then, maybe Jared could give it to someone else. But that's where, too, I'm still impressed. Where, like, it wasn't like Mig was short on heals, right? It wasn't like Cookie was not low on heals. Obviously, they again almost quadrupled their opposing classes' frags. So it seems like the machine is working. Maybe honestly, Arbiter could be using more, but this also reads to me one of those games like the sniper isn't playing pocket, right? So it isn't playing pocket sniper, that is. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it feels like Jerry's doing everything right, but I want to see more from Nugget. I'm with you.
And I think it's interesting that, too, in that first round, we saw Mountain, top fragging by a decent amount. Mountain got 12 kills in that first round, but Arbiter comes back with 10 in the third. So despite, Arbiter having hung out around the bottom of the scoreboard for a lot of that game, really put it together at the end and kind of put that last round on his team's back. And I think of where you can really see that is he got 4 demo picks, and it felt like all of those were very impactful. Like, all of it would kill Nick right when he was starting to walk up. And that's the best time you can kill a demo man, because it just stalls their push in the water. It leaves them vulnerable because now they're thinking they're going to walk forward, and then they have to decide, do we want to keep going without a demo, or do we want to hightail it back? And it just, that's however long their demo spawn is, you've just stalled that much time off the clock with a single shot.
Yeah. And thanks for your patience for all the folks back home. We're just changing server quickly after a couple stutters on the last one. But I'm looking too at we sang some praises for a cookie there who is, getting a lot of frags, but 3 of those are on medic. I mean, they're tied for the most med picks with a spy, right? So we talked about that sick reflect where like, a lot of things had to go your way for that to work, but apparently what's the phrase? It's like once is random chance, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times is a habit, right? So this is kind of one of those things where it's like, again, just leaning slightly in your team's favor. This heal spread leaning slightly in your team's favor, because when your medics are even, snipers are even, damage is pretty much even. I mean, yeah, like damage in the whole server is like 3,000 apart from each other, which is basically nothing. So it's these little tiny differences that are making the win for NKB so far.
Funny, because the way I heard it was if like fool me once, it's my fault. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, it's an elaborate conspiracy by some hidden superpower. But I believe we do have info for the new server here, and
I thought it was public knowledge that all pyro mains belong to the Illuminati. I mean, there's not really any questions to me.
Do they? That explains the roundtables then. Gonna have to have some discussion with Melon after this. See if I can get in on that. But
I know everything.
I digress. I do think, again, like, we saw so many even plays here, and it just came down to maybe quality over quantity in a lot of situations. So looking forward, though, I do just want to reiterate, like, that is I feel bad to continually, bring this up, but you need your scout to perform better, because we mentioned how that this is really important, right? Because you have to imagine that if in a 4-team round robin, most likely one team is going to go 3-0. And that team that goes 3-0 is going to win, especially because we only have 1 seed. If there were 2 seeds, things would get a lot, more interesting. But if you lose a game, your only hope is that one team goes 0-3 and everyone else goes 2-1, and you trade wins off each other, pretty much. So if the winner of this match will kind of be the challenger, I guess you could say, Yi, is kind of how most of us are imagining it.
Yeah.
But be it against Yi, who, managed to snag a win against you in particular last season, I think, Rogue. Funny story.
Oops, so that's someone's calling. I gotta
Oops, all CP steal. But no, but you have to imagine them as the favorites here. But you can't have a scout taking that many resources and doing that poorly if you want to beat Yi, much less be a competent invite team. So I think that the formula we've seen from NKB has been working so far, and if Nugget can perform better, will put them in a really good spot, right? Because if you can have a heavy that does that well, that doesn't need that many heals, and you can just tank a scout. Right, like I've played enough product with Syath where he would just scream beam when he's at 145, because keeping a scout at 185 on product is just that important because of how powerful the class is. That puts them in a really good template to win. So I want to say that going forward, NKB have to be the favorites here, but if anything in that system it feels like falls apart, or Mountain starts performing a little bit better, or Cookie doesn't find 3 med kills, one of those on a reflect drop, that also killed the demo, like, this match is in a very tenuous balance right now.
Yeah, but I even think it's one of those where, like, let's say Nugget gets 10 more frags, right? All else equal, Nugget has 10 more frags. Is it really overwhelmingly a difference maker? I think no. To me, it's, we've seen so much of these teams, like, playing a little too slow, or just, like, not really knowing what they're doing, or, like, they kind of made a mistake, but the other team made a mistake harder, right? So it comes down to just the calls to me. Like, make a better call, make a faster call, and that's the difference. Like, do everything else the same, it doesn't matter, but I just want to see you, like, want to win and do what it takes to win.
I'm kind of going to disagree with that about those 10 kills, because you think about when those 10 kills might come in. Nugget's gotten almost every single Uber, and I feel like has gotten 2 kills on Ubers, at most. Yes, he's getting stuff by a pyro. Yes, you can't expect a scout to go chase down a medic and to spawn when the pyro's alive, but Rez isn't even dying in half of these fights. Like, or he will die, but only after the Uber's done and he's got 6 people shooting him, which as a pyro, you're happy to take that death. But being able to just kill that pyro quickly and get in and cause more pressure. You know, we were talking about how some of these, sometimes they're playing too slow, how sometimes they're taking these fights and it just feels like whoever wants to win wins. Part of that's because if you take an Uber and you don't get any kills and you let one pyro kind of stonewall your entire team for 8 seconds, you don't get the space that you would otherwise if that pyro goes down. Even if you don't get any other frags, being able to get that space, force the enemy team's combo way further back, you know, like maybe Matches is kiting to the back of cliff behind house, but if Rez goes down earlier, she's forced to kite into spawn, and that just gives you more time to cap, more time for everything else to go well. So I think getting those kills on Ubers is something that's going to be really important. And while I'm, you know, while I'm throwing shade, I think the cliff Ubers coming out of NKB are okay, but I see early pops really, really frequently, even in situations where Mountain might not be able to get that shot, or, you know, maybe you risk it, you know, if you're taking the demo and the scout in on a full ad, right? You don't want to pop while you're still like on the back of cliff. And these optimizations where like 1 or 2 seconds in these Ubers really can be meaningful in terms of capping and getting pressure.
Yeah, that's really one of my biggest pet peeves where, like, I don't know, if I'm a medic on cliff and our demo goes and they die to trap, they're like, oh, you should have used. And then if you think they might die to trap, you used too early and they're like, oh, you shouldn't have used. But you as medic, you can never know. So that's where you said, like, you know, if Mountain didn't really have the shot or Nick didn't really have a trap up, NKB is able to just, you know, scout it out, take a look for literally 3 seconds and be like, oh, do we need to force or no? And anyone can call that from the team. Like, hey, I'm an engineer connector. I see their sniper, just milk. You know, so a little bit more coordination. But I mean, at least they're using too early. Like, I don't mind using too early as much as I mind using too late.
Yeah. If Jer had 5 drops right now, then this match would be looking very different. So in that sense, it's a good thing. But you know, you kind of got to learn that line of where the ideal kind of risk level lies, right? Because if you always bank on the side of being too safe every single time, you're going to lose out on a lot, right? You kind of have to accept that, yeah, maybe 1 out of 10 Ubers, our demo is going to get hit by like a freak headshot or something, right? In exchange for those other 9 pushes being significantly better. You know, you can't eliminate all risk from something. Like, having played main the past couple of seasons, it feels like, you know, my experience with main players is that a lot of the times they try to eliminate all risk of something going wrong to the extent that they just lose the game off of it. Be it off of Spy, be it off of Sniper. You see 6 people gathered up on Cliff for a minute and a half not doing anything, and it's like, okay. You know, if you look at invite logs, if you look at the invite grand finals, Spies still get kills, Medics still get sniped, right? The fact that it happens in invite means it's going to happen in lower divs, and you just gotta be playing to mitigate that risk while still maximizing potential reward. And it feels like there might be a little
going wrong. You become more afraid of things going right.
Right, yeah, because I mean, I'm like, you know, Meds dying is bad, right? But if you go in, you dry force their Uber, you take a fight, and even if your med dies, you still have 30 seconds to dry push that. You can get kills in that Uber exchange, right? If you can get a sniper, you know, maybe late in the fight, you can just dry push off of that. You know, yeah, they're at 50 Uber, you're at 0, but until that 50 doesn't mean anything until it turns into 100. You get the point, you force the Uber back, and you get into that leapfrog that gives you more opportunities to win instead of just sitting back and being passive. So I think the teams are doing a good job of kind of having that aggression, right? But within those pushes, they can definitely be optimizing these a little bit more.
Yeah, that's again where I'm kind of looking at some of these fights where it's like, honestly, like, hey, if you're in a 4v7 and you're losing the points and losing the fight, go and feed, right? You're about to have better spawns than them, or you're going to delay their spawns, or they're going to delay point to get their spawns and then give you yours too. Like, just go and feed your medic, feed your demo and sniper. I don't care. Like, but you know, do it now because something good will come from it, at least from some activity. But it's like you said, where if they like mitigate everything, then you're kind of left with nothing.
All right, we're going live here in about 5 seconds here, Rogue. So I wanna get from you. Do you want to revise your prediction at all, or are you sticking with the 4-3 for Train?
I'll even go 4-2. I think. What about you?
So you think Train's gonna sweep this out 3-0 from here on out?
No, it'd have to be 2-1, right? Because
NKB's got 2 rounds here.
So sorry, my bad. I meant NKB gets a. I guess, yeah, I'll go for 4-2 for NKB, my bad.
All right, I'm going to stick on the 4-3 right here. I think we'll see some good adaptations coming out of Train Station. And Nugget, going down right off the bat, but Geen and Nick going back instead, so that's a trade he will gladly take. Lucky with the decloak, gonna get caught out by Cookie, goes down, and a very solid mid, it looks like, for NKB. First couple of mids went very, one-sidedly into the favor of Train Station, but feels like NKB's gaining momentum, and they will even catch out matches on this mid as she tries to leave out their main. So, Uber for the side of Jer, and maybe that 4-2 for NKB is looking pretty smart right now.
Yeah, oh wow, really late picks onto the combo of NKB though. This is going to give Train an opening right now, which you have to take. I mean, bait your medic and keep, have your medic bait and keep them out, but you need to be moving now if you're Train.
Yep, bomb coming in from Geen, not going to find too much. Jer's going to back off. They're going to give this up without using Uber. Not just still only at 40 means they will have time to re-push here. And yep, Uber coming off of Cliff. They're taking the Pyro, Demo, and Scout all in on this. And Train Station has vanished off of this point. It will go immediately right back, but we're in the leapfrog. Matches is now sitting on about 50% ad, and now we wait.
Yeah, great baiting from Train Station, but you need to already be in. You're letting them set up now. Heavy's on Cliff. They weren't before. Now the dispenser's going to be up. It wasn't before. By taking your time, yeah, you're getting this Uber, but you're losing literally everything else. Get your flank in. Do something now. What are we waiting for? A beautiful life is before you. You must take it.
But yeah, now it looks like they are trying to take this point right here. Mountain's going to land the shot onto Arbiter, but Geen and Lucky both going down. So no soldier means no explosive damage, which means that Mini on concrete is going to be a bit more of a nuisance. And super forward combo play right here. Jer on almost no health. Might still manage to live here. No, gets, I think uses just in time to not die. Mig jumps back in. Match is going to take no damage actually backing out. So no med death there to snowball even further. The point will remain in NKB's favor, but these are going really well for them. Ooh, good rocket out of Voosh to hit a low altitude air shot onto Frog, but still counts. Gets the frag, and basically even Uber's right here.
Man, I'm telling you, that's what's driving me crazy, right? Train waited all that time to get an Uber off, and they still didn't win it, right? So why did you even waste time waiting? Now it's a time we have a dry, NKB just got one of their spawners up, so you're in a 9v8. We're peeking our sniper, we're starting to edge cap, but, our spy's just kind of watching around, not going for a play. Our soldier isn't initiating yet. Now this is more time off the clock. We're about to come up on Ubers, which is the worst case scenario for Train. You need to win now.
Right, Cutomus getting hit really low right there. Going to be forced back to heal up. Lucky getting caught out. Mountain going down too. That's Mig finding the pipes. No sniper means that they can play out, and Chalk is taking advantage of that right away. Walking across caution will get focused down, but the Uber comes out from matches. Jer just getting and will use. Arbiter goes down, but way better Uber here. And I do want to attribute some of that to Chalk walking forward, putting so much pressure onto Train Station. Loses his life, but it looks like we will have a pause right as the Uber's fading.
Man. This is unbelievable. Look how much time they're... I mean, Train, I believe, won the... No, they lost the mid-fight. Yeah, they capped once and then just got recapped instantly. I mean, getting 10 seconds off the clock where NKB had somewhere around 35 to 40, I believe, when the pause came in. It's just so one-sided now. And again, it's not like, NKB is playing great. I mean, they're making some good plays, but, it's not like their sniper's going nuts or their demo's doing a bajillion damage. Instead, it's Train's just waiting for something, for the right time to go. But there's never a right time. You just have to keep going. And if it didn't work, go again, right? They're just kind of delaying and oh, wait, we have to delay our delay now. And by the time you're 4 delays deep, it's oopsies, we've waited for 2 minutes now.
I want to amend what you said. There's always a right time, because it is always the right time to go. There's never a perfect time. There's always going to be, that slight % chance something goes wrong, that you get stabbed at a really unlucky time, that everyone spontaneously whiffs every single shot. But again, that shouldn't stop you. You gotta acknowledge the fact that's going to happen, and we are paused right now as Chalk's internet has died, so I'd imagine this is going to be a little bit longer of a pause than the last one, depending on how finicky his router and his ISP is being. So,
I'll take a second to shout out the okay, this is a deep cut, but I think it's the brass section from the Boston Philharmonic has this one video where they're tell us about your secret to warming up, to play these unbelievable parts on trumpet, and he's I don't have to warm up because I never cool down. And that's the difference with these teams versus the top invite teams. Like you were saying, it's it's always time to go. We got to go now. We should have gone 5 seconds ago. We also need to go again in the next 5 seconds. Just keep going. And NKB feels like they have that throttle kind of on. We don't see those mega aggressive holds like we saw. I think there was just one in the first half and a little bit of a second one. but just so much of this activity, again, even like, using this Uber, but some of their flank players are pushing across the other side of point, right? Corralling Train where we're paused here. So yeah, I'm just seeing a little more hustle out of NKB. And for Train, I beg you, watch this round of this VOD, and my PayPal will be in the description.
Oh, we are unpaused though right now. Match is gonna get stabbed immediately after. Kraft must have been waiting for that this entire, well, the pause isn't now, so that's not entirely true. But we will see Voosh going down, though. No heals means that everyone on Train has nothing to lose, and they should be botting forward, trying to get cap time and kills, and they are going to do that, but a little bit delayed. Match is back up now, though. So the feeding should come to a close, and Rez will finish off that point. Mig getting hit up a little bit, but likely going to see a repush coming out of NKB in pretty short order.
I want to keep a little bit of an eye on the flank here in these off Ubers. I mean, both teams kind of just chilling around, but the thing is NKB has 3 players and a mini, whereas Train has only 2 players. So by just you having that, look at that, the flank from NKB is able to pressure all the way across. Now the combo of NKB is uncontested. I mean, both teams had no Uber, but just from positioning, NKB was better off. And also, NKB doesn't even have the point right now. They're coming back on the cap now, so just, a little bit better positioning, waiting for 5 seconds, and then they win the whole fight.
Oh yeah, we can see Chalk AFK behind Rock here. This is where, that's where it happened. So the point just barely not getting cat. Cookie forced off of it with a pixel or 2 left on the cap time. So Train Station gonna come in with their first really solid hold. Matches did not have to use Uber. Jared did, and I believe died as well. So things finally going into the favor of Train Station here. Reminder that the score is 2-1, so if we see the point get capped here, it'll basically be game for NKB and put them on match point. As it looks like everything's back in line. Yep, Chalk should be back in the server, I believe.
Yeah, getting a huge drop on the matches in pocket. Just walks up slowly and down smash. I mean, they just walked in a straight line. It was a great drop there. But great from Train. Look at this. They just say, all right, I'm headset, time to go. And they just fly across point here. They're actually converting this into a cap. I'm very impressed here, but now you have to force the medic too because the round is so close for NKB right now. You basically can't make any more mistakes here, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not technically an overtime. I've seen the 0 seconds, but not in overtime matter in exactly 1 game. It's always, worthwhile to point it out just in case it does happen because everyone's going to be inevitably confused. But Jared does have full Uber here, so you got to imagine the chances of capping are going to be pretty well. There's Crab Kitty coming in, getting matches and Nick right before this happens, and this round might as well be as good as over. The cap going to come in, overtime will last for about a second right there, and that is actually Cutamus, and some kills came in very short order. It looks like I was wrong about that round being over just then, but
wow.
They're forced to cap, they extend their spawns. Chalk doing another great job of living in an overtime fight, providing so much pressure here. Gonna help take out Nick, Cutamus, and some matches all at the end there. We are nesting on a 3-1 for NKB.
Yeah, Craft Kitty is a name we haven't said so much so far, but I'm thinking back to my big man, BM, from last season, where, like, they don't ask how, they ask how many in hockey fights, right? So they don't ask how many frags you got, they ask how many important ones you got. And it's plays like this that Craft Kitty wins the round for their team.
Yeah, and we saw this spy weakness last night against the ATA core experience, and it wasn't enough to sink them, but it may very well be enough here, as lots of kills coming out early on this mid, but Jinzo trying to walk across, gonna get taken down almost immediately. I think 4 kills on both sides. We're in a 5v5 right here. Frog walking forward, gonna take a lot of damage from that mini, but secures the sign and some cap time right there. But ooh, Arbiter lands the shot onto Mountain. No snipers means the pedal is to the metal for NKB. Match is gonna be chased back into main spawn. Nugget going deep, will go down though. Not able to finish off that frag. I respect the hustle though.
Yeah, great try.
The mid will go over in the favor of NKB. So 2 minutes 54 seconds until they win this end counting.
Yeah, nice from Arbiter there, just winning the mid, right? It was something like a 5v5, 6v6 or something, and then Arbiter rattles off 2 headshots, and it's like, all right, try again next time as Arbiter's not done. They're still coming. Yeah,
keeps railing them off on a 5 streak already this round. Had a bit of a slow start, but really shaping up as this goes on.
Dude, here's another one. They're like, all right, we have even Ubers having to push, and someone's like, wait, but they have a sniper. Now we've delayed by 15 seconds.
Right, some edging trying to come through on that main side of point, but good job by Mick to force them back. Uber's going to be popped out a little aggressive on that. I don't really need to use there. Nugget's going to get caught out. Jer should escape, but Cookie's going to go down. We're going to see Chalk going down. It is very solidly won by the side of Train Station. I am not a fan of that Uber.
Yeah, that's a bit rough. And man, again, these teams like back up. They're like, great, we have everything we could do in the whole world. What do we want to do with it? Nothing. I'll just chill out here, thanks. Live a peaceful life. Maybe meditate here on Cliff. You know, enjoy the trees and the rocks, huh?
Yeah, just stare and take a nice look at that scenery, you know, beyond the boundaries of the map. But no, I mean we're about a 30-second lead in time right now for NKB. Ubers are about even. If we can keep this up, then things might end up going pretty well. But Arbiter landing Mountain is not what you want to see. So.
Yeah. Whoa! Arbiter running 2 passes onto Mountain and Nick. I mean, this fight is over. Get on the point. We've already done it. Oh my god! Everyone's dying. Someone help.
How's that for a go button? You know, they get the counter snipe, and it is Mach 6 forward across point. Chalk is on the enemy concrete right now. Frog, wait a second, that's not supposed to be there. Chalk getting a little bit aggro, gonna be forced back. It looks like doesn't want to risk getting caught out. As and the advanced party on Cliff will also be forced to back up here, back to the safety of pocket. But you know, another couple seconds bought.
Yeah, we see NKB poking, right? Where are they coming from? Can we do a bit of damage? You know, let's stop their flank from getting together here. You know, the flank still can't get on. I mean, Yogurt goes down now, but by delaying their flank for so long, we telegraph the rest of their combo. We even used first actually from NKB, but there's so much damage. We know where every single train player is. They can't flash everyone, Alto.
Yep, and in the brief, you know, midst of a flash, Nick gets sniped during that Uber. So no chance of them winning this in the post, and this is beginning to look almost like a victory lap right now for NKB. Arbiter finding another pick onto Mountain, make that a double onto Geen, another 5 streak for him. That's at least 10 kills this round. We've still got a minute left.
Yeah, Arbiter, quick stutter, no worries here, but yeah, Arbiter definitely a grower in this match. And how the 6K, I mean, yeah, after those couple runs of 4-play, Arbiter's ready to go. Look at this aggression now again, like Jinzo's eating on Cliff. Nugget is going so deep. I mean, these players are so fast now. You know, this is, again, like we said, if we just pick a team to decide to win this, then you'll win. And right now, NKB is kind of riding their high, while Train seems like, you know, maybe they're arguing a little too much, thinking a little too much.
Yeah, we will see though. Then that is 7. Kraft, can he make that 8? I'm trying to think of a clever pun. The Arbiter's meeting out justice. There's a Halo reference in here somewhere, boys. But make that 80 sitting on Rock, not a care in the world. All of that prior pressure he got, nowhere to be found. 9 onto Frog, walks in, gilds the engineer. Uber popped out onto point. It's going to be an exchange here, but Cookie's doing his best to stuff it. Make that a 10 streak onto Cutamus. He find any more in this last bit of the round. Force back, not going to land the shot onto Rez. That could have been 11. Silly Sniper main has the professional kill streak 10 going, but it looks like it will be enough. Cookie busts out the guitar, shreds a wicked riff, and that will be NKB taking the 4-1 over Train Station.
Wow, whoever's on NKB, yeah, they're listening to our prayers, you know, taking a little advantage. Well, I mean, honestly, I put a lot of that down to Arbiter. Like, the team was playing better Team Fortress, but then Arbiter, you know, stopped Train from ever having any kind of contest, any way to contest NKB in that round, in these past 2 rounds.
Arbiter with 22 and 6, 524 DPM. Most on the server. Yeah, actually, Nick had a solid 100 DPM over Mig, but died 4 times as often to deal it.
Wow.
9 and 3 to 9 and 12, and at that point, you know, it's, yeah, you're dealing an extra pipe a minute, but you're also dying an extra once a minute. Is that really worth it? I would say no.
I can't believe it comes out to 1 pipe per minute. Yeah, that's how the math goes. But yeah, I do like understand, obviously, in a losing game, I kind of like to see that, not to be a bad influence or anything, but like if your team's losing, you need to find a way back in. So if you have to be the one to break it open, then great. But that's the problem. We needed to see the whole team break it open, right? Just have everyone go now, and then, you know, why go when we can enjoy you know, the backside of our own house? Scientists are baffled.
Someone hung a nice painting back there. It just happens everyone on Train Station is a cultured patrician who looks at art in their spare time.
It's one of those salacious sprays, and then you decloak with the backstab, just like in 2009.
It was a tactical move by Crab Kitty. Sprayed bold and brash back there. Everyone just in awe at it. But no, just a really, really solid showing in the second half from NKB, and I think that what I'll say is that I think they fixed a lot of the issues. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because when your sniper's going 22-6, that's going to cover up any issues you may have. So I do think some of the issues from the first half are still relevant. Nugget had a much better half, but was not, second frag, 12-7 is not bad by any means, but I feel like when your sniper is doing that much, everyone's just going to naturally have their stats lifted to an extent. So
yeah,
against a better team in Yi, who they'll be playing tomorrow, likely for all the marbles here in that last spot and invite, going to need to see a sharper performance. Granted, if Arbiter is able to repeat that performance against... do we know who the sniper on Yi is?
Michael PC1.
Yeah, if Arbiter is able to replicate that against the personal computer, then I think things look good in the cards for NKB. But if I'm Yi, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, all right, you know what? Let's not play product. We're the better team. This team won off of a very hard sniper carry. Let's not give them that option, So
it might be the case that the vetoes were done already. I actually believe they've decided on a map.
Have they? Okay, I'm not entirely sure about how the process works. Granted, for a related bit of news, we did find out that I believe it was a 2-0 victory for Yi over the ITZY Core experience in the other round. So we are now looking at Train Station being 1-1, NKB and Yi both at 1-0, and ITZY Core at 0-2, which I believe at this point is likely enough to eliminate ITZY Core experience unless we have a absolute Twilight Zone, everyone finishes 2-2. But we are, again, likely, we should have that Yi NKB matchup tomorrow, and that should be the deciding factor, unless, we see something where NKB beats Train Station beats Yi, Yi beats NKB, but it's a lot easier for other scenarios to happen.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with NKB's performance here. I feel like, there's some kind of thought maybe it comes down to the team that loses the slowest, but I feel like NKB won it here. I mean, Arbiter definitely won it, but the rest of the team, if you have your sniper dry peeking into angles, there's only so much they can do. If your team's going crazy and then your sniper peeks, it's like that's when they find brilliance, okay? So I think Arbiter played especially great, but the rest of NKB also activated Arbiter too, so I'm happy to see that they won this match for themselves, and I'm actually very excited to see them play Gi tomorrow.
Yeah, that should be a very good one. I believe we'll have 2 matches tomorrow. If Dolphin can confirm or deny that, we'll at the very least have the one. But yeah, tune in for that. But I think we're about ready to wrap up here. It's almost 11. We've been going for a while. So, Rogue, any closing thoughts? Any shout-outs? Any last words?
Am I gonna die? I feel fine.
I think you said you were ringing tomorrow, weren't you? I mean,
no, on week 1. We're still week 0
week
right
1.
now.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
I'll be here if everyone will have me. I hope you've enjoyed our cast today. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you, everyone. Always shout out to Dolphin. Thanks for everything you do. And that's all I got, Alto.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to all the teams in the qualifiers, going through to try to earn that spot and invite. Not the most glamorous spot or that of the most glamorous position, but a lot more admirable than sandbagging your roster and aiming for advance. So that will to improve is something I love seeing. So yeah, shout out to the teams. Congratulations to NKB on their victory today. And that'll do it for us. We will catch you tomorrow. Not sure who's going to be on the cast. I might step out to let Zag and Rogue cast together. It, depends on the schedules, but definitely be there. I'm not sure if that's going to be at 8:30 or 9:30, but I think we'll have coverage on both games. 8:30, that'll be so bright and early for Highlander time.
I also have confirmation that NKB versus Yi will be on Koth Asheville tomorrow, 8:30.
Ooh, that's very interesting. That's really going to put the spotlight on Nugget now that I think about it. So should be a good match. Tune in for that. But to everyone still here, thank you for watching. I am Alto, joined by Rogue, Dolphin behind the camera, stalwart as always. Throw some hearts in chat for him. And while I've got a little bit of a minute, I do want to continue to prompt you guys to check out the RGL merch site. Some really great designs on there. If you've been watching the cast, you've probably heard about it already, but just in case, do check that out. We've got some new Witness Gaming merch in there by now.
And of course, we're rocking September. You can get 20% off your Twitch sub to RGL. Keep supporting these awesome casts that I so enjoy, and I hope you do too.
But yeah, that will do it for us. So, have a good night, or a good rest of the day if you're somewhere else in the world other than North America or the Americas. So, have a good one, and that'll be it from us.